into. Truthfully, he wouldn't have to show much. Her current routine, while interesting and necessary, wasn't exactly stimulating. After the feds took control of the ongoing probe into the Cthulhu aftermath, she'd been granted a transfer from the San Antonio PD's Property Crimes Division to Homicide. Her first month in the new position had consisted of reviewing old files, shadowing other detectives as they worked, and keeping her mouth shut as much as possible. When the LT had hollered her name an hour ago, she figured he had more files for her to review. She was wrong. Lieutenant Rico Segura was sitting behind his desk, an unlit cigar hanging from his mouth. Every morning the man pulled a new stogie from his drawer and planted it between his teeth. By the end of the day, most of the cigar would be gone, whether from absorption or chewing, or swallowing or spitting, or... She managed to restrain a shudder. "Get to the ME's office ASAP," he said. "Find out what Pritchard's got. Suspicious death. See if it's worth investigating." After a quick "yes, sir," she'd hurried over and caught the doctor between autopsies and meetings. Douglas Pritchard worked with her on Cthulhu, and at the time he'd been dating Sarah Colby, a Texas Ranger who'd also been involved in the inquiry. The two were no longer together, a fact Amara knew from her increasingly infrequent conversations with the woman. The ME cleared his throat. "Detective?" "Sorry." She shifted in the red leather armchair. "Yes, the security video will be helpful if we move forward with an investigation. But there's nothing on there that even hints at a crime. When the tox screenings come back, the department may take another look if warranted." He scanned his desktop. "How's Sarah? Do you two speak often?" Last I heard, she was doing well." He shuffled through a stack of file folders. "So that's a no." "We talk on occasion. She's fine." "Give her my best, would you?" He looked up and stroked his goatee. "Now that's an interesting saying, isn't it? My best. My best what? Intentions? Makes no sense. Wishes? I suppose that might work under the right circumstances, but You have more evidence to support your suspicions regarding the death?" He nodded. "Zachary Bryce Coleman, 17-year-old Caucasian male. I have his file ready to, it's right, well..." He moved his hand over his desk twice, then pounced on a folder. "Here we go. The young man expired in rather peculiar circumstances." "Yeah, it was on the news, too." He shrugged. "Perhaps. I'm afraid I don't spend much time watching television." He dragged his finger down a sheet of paper. "The death happened 2 days ago. Exceptionally hot, if you'll recall. The decedent and a group of friends planned to escape the heat at the water park. Have you ever been there, Detective?" No, not that I recall." He tilted his head. "Is that something you'd forget? Of course, if you visited before the age of 3, it's unlikely you'd remember, and recent studies regarding Freud's childhood amnesia theory indicate that most events occurring before a child reaches 7 or 8 fade as—" "No," she said, "I've never been there. You were saying the victim and his friends wanted to spend the day at the water park." "Yes, along with thousands of others. He had a blood alcohol content of 0.08. The final toxicology report may show a variance from that number, but he definitely consumed alcohol. Our initial theory was the combination of excessive temperatures and alcohol consumption led to heat stroke. The autopsy, however, showed no signs of petechial hemorrhages or, English please, there was no indication of bleeding in the membranes surrounding some of the body's organs. No congestion in the lungs or swelling in the brain. None of the symptoms we typically identify in a heat stroke victim. And before you ask, alcohol poisoning would exhibit many of these same indications, as well as others which also were not detected during the autopsy." She planted her elbows on the chair's armrests and inched forward. "How did he die, then?" "We don't know. It will be 4 to 6 weeks before the toxicology..."